Welcome to the PTA Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, John Caliger. I'm accompanied by my co-host, Nick Kellen.
Howdy.
Nick, how you doing today?
Doing great. Just drinking some of my bubbly.
Well, cheers. I'm drinking my Polar. Cheers, Seltzer Bro. This podcast I'm very excited for. We're going to discuss Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is the catalyst for my investing journey. I know that sounds kind of conceited, but he was really the person who kind of I follow a lot of his works and his philosophy since I was 19 years old when I started getting more interested in the market. So, Nick, can you run the clip?
Absolutely.
Really understand it. I think it's an incredible technological advance in terms of showing what we can do, but I don't know whether we know what happens. And I was listening. Who was it the other day that was who knows a lot about technology? He just says that it scares him. Well, if it scares him, it scares me in terms of the possibilities of. I mean, we've done amazing things, like we figured out how to create an atom bomb back in 1945. I didn't know what an atom was or anything, but Einstein told me it was going to change the world, and it changed the world. So I don't want to change the world too many times without having some idea of the consequences of it. And I think this is extraordinary, but I don't know whether it's beneficial. I don't really understand.
So Warren Buffett
Yeah,
was
that was the
talking
first
about,
time I've seen that video.
yeah. So that was Warren Buffett talking about Chat GPT and artificial intelligence and his thoughts and opinions on it. And Warren Buffett is probably one of the most trusted men in finance. There's very few people I would put in his league of trust. He's outperformed the market and made money time and time again. So,
And I haven't heard this comparison. It completely makes sense, and I'll probably talk about it from now on. But the atom and the atom bomb of his generation is an AI chat GPT of our generation.
I would say AI is probably more dangerous as well than the atom
Maybe. I
bomb.
mean, the
Just
atom
because of
bomb.
the deepfakes and misinformation and those things. Will ChatGPT kills many people as an atom bomb? Probably not. But just the misinformation and the things you can that you can utilize with it, I definitely think is pretty. My opinion, I think is far more dangerous. But I want to talk about ways that we can utilize it to make, because this is a business podcast, contrary to popular belief. This is a business and real estate podcast, so I think it is going to serve dividends in the future if you know how to harness it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Because like all the things you can do with AI, with you could build websites. I think it's going to definitely help. Imagine doing your taxes with AI instead of having to pay all that money going to do taxes with AI. It would be
So QuickBooks.
Yeah, instead of QuickBooks and all those things. I really think it is going to disrupt the market. It already is disrupting the market more than we even know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could take accountants' jobs.
100%. Accountants, lawyers.
That's a huge
Imagine,
industry too.
yes, imagine about. But see, the thing about it is, I don't think it will ever replace a human, because since it is a computer, you can hack it and have fraud. I'm not saying that a human being can have fraud or be a liar or a scumbag, but I do think there's going to be some checks and balances in the future. I think people are like, oh, it's going to go and run rapid. Name one thing that has never been reeled in. Like to take the atom bomb. There's a million committees. There's who can have it, who cannot. Like we're beefing with Iran because their program, North Korea, people beefing with us. The East Wall, Russia had it, the mutual, like all those things go on and on. Like name one thing that got out of control that has never been reeled in.
True, and everything that can bring good can also harness evil.
Yes, that is like a rule for life. So all these people who are like, oh my God, they're going to get accounts, are never going to have any jobs. No, I just think.
I think it'll create new jobs and new opportunities for people.
In what ways? Expand on that, because everything always does. I don't know if it's going to be better or well off, but I do think it'd be. What I envision, like with AI, I think we're still going to produce accountants and stuff like that, but those people are going to be inputting the data into AI.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of getting at it will create new jobs and it will maybe create better jobs and greater opportunities and probably increase governments, increase society. I guess an example is from one of my platoon sergeants when he was in Afghanistan. They built a well in their village because you could just go where you don't have to travel down to the river. But there was a whole industry of women that their jobs were to walk down to the river, fill up buckets, and walk back to the village. That was their role in the society. And creating that well took away their jobs, and now they didn't have a life. So they end up actually destroying that well. But it could have those women could have done something different. Could have
See,
innovated.
but
This
Nick,
is
you
what
just proved my
AI is
point.
going to do.
Nick,
It's gonna eliminate those jobs, and now those people that are now accountants can move on to different jobs or whatever.
but see, you just proved my point. I think an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, or like the bread and butter jobs of America, of like if you're someone down and out in the south side of Chicago, but you go to school and become an accountant, you know you're gonna have a nice life. And I think those types of things what fears me, like especially like broader, like you can go like globalization. Talk to people of Flint, Michigan, and Detroit, Michigan about globalization, or people of Virginia or Pennsylvania with the steel mills. Globalization greatly devastated those communities. So when all those pundits who went to freaking Ivy League schools who don't know anything say, "Oh, oh, we're gonna have new, better jobs," I don't believe that. I believe you might have new jobs. Are they better than being an accountant? That's hard for me to say because I would say an accountant is a top 10 job
Yeah,
in
and
terms of security.
I guess using the word better is really subjective. So
Yeah.
maybe a job, since your job got taken by a robot, and that would free you up to be able to innovate something within a society that would increase prosperity within the society.
See, I completely disagree with that because I don't think everyone's like life is to increase society. I think a lot of people, I would say 97% of all Americans or people on this earth only go to work so they can have a place to eat, have a place to sleep, and have food to eat and like hang out with their family. I don't think people like wake up every day like, how can I make the world a better place? How can I move society forward? I think the people who on
I'm,
television programs have those thoughts and they just assume that everyone believes that way. I wholeheartedly disagree. If you look at, and my evidence to prove that is look at Virginia with the coal mines. All those people who got their jobs taken away, did they move? A lot of them moved, but the people who stayed, their lives are not better. They're living desperate, sad, destitute lives, which I feel bad for them. Yes, like they got like globalization and new technology devastated those communities. And I think if you do that with an accountant, because like why would anyone want to be an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor? Because they're hard and they're very hard to do, but like it offers you prestige, class, allows you a comfortable living. It's all those things that people are seeking in like the middle class American dream. So if you start taking those jobs away in favor of technology, I don't think society gets better. I think it gets worse because I think
no,
people get more desperate, sad, and it's easier for people to quit. Like, why would I even try if my job's going to get taken away or my robot can do it anyway? I do not like. Do I think am I anti AI because I can't take it away? Like, it's here to stay. There's really nothing I personally can do about it. But I don't think when people sit up there and say, "Oh, you're gonna have jobs," that's not really always the case.
yeah. Well, I guess for the coal mining situation that you brought up, well, those good jobs got taken away because of oil. So if you're in the coal mining business, you need to adapt.
Yeah, but Nick, that's
So
BS.
moving
Book
sucks.
reading. Tell some guy like generations and generations and generations of people have lived in your town and done coal mining, and then you're telling them to freaking adapt. That's not like a yes. Is that what they need to do? But that's not an easy pill to swallow. That's not easier said than done, especially like with you involve community, heritage, family members, like picking up and moving. I've picked up and moved across country a handful of times. it sucks. It's a very hard thing to do. So when you sit there and say, "Oh, you need to adapt," that's fucking hard to do.
And I 100%. And there's two ways you can the town can adapt, or you can move and you can adapt. It's tough, but that's reality. Houston right now, with the is a huge relying on oil, and a lot of companies and a lot of parts of the energy sector is moving to more electric grids.
Yeah.
Now, if electric takes over Houston, the country, and all that stuff, well, Houston needs to adapt, or Houston's gonna not be profitable anymore, and people are gonna start leaving. So
But I
yeah,
don't think
it's a tough pill to swallow. But if Houston and needs to prosper after, let's say, oil goes away, just like how oil replaced coal, if this electric grid and renewable energy takes over oil now, well, Houston has to adapt, or Houston will end up like one of those towns. Is it tough pill to swallow? Yes, but it's either me as a real estate agent, I'm gonna have to move somewhere else because nobody's moving here. I mean, that sucks. I love Houston. Well, I mean, that's something that I would have to do, be able to keep food on the table. Or Houston as the primary source of job creation, and why people move here is for energy, oil industry. These people are going to have to get new jobs. Now, if that push happens from government intervention, 100% against it. I know there was a huge government intervention from coal to oil. Against that. Against. Now, I'm also against the oil from the renewable energy. If that happens with government intervention, against. If that happens because of the free market, I'm all for it.
And I would also argue too, if the free market, like, so this is what I believe, like, if the free market determines that oil is better than coal, then I agree with you that new jobs will be created. But if it's government intervention, I don't think government does not create new jobs or better jobs.
100%. And that's what I agree with you with the whole coal to oil. 100%. There was huge government intervention. Oil was the cleaner alternative, and they wanted to push the cleaner alternative, and it was doable.
Like me personally, I don't want to change up because we dove like the coal miles, whatever. But I do want to talk about. I don't think there
but this relates to AI.
I don't think me personally.
If government is playing a huge role in increasing AI capabilities to replace, let's say, accounting, I would be against that. Now, if the free market, if some, Elon Musk of the AI, companies create this huge like accounting web service for people to use, and accounting naturally needs to just decrease the size because you still need a human person, but you could maybe have half the human staff and still do the same job with the AI capabilities. I'm all for that. It's just an industry that needs to be adapted. And now, as a real estate agent, I get data to see if my job's relevant all the time. I get people that I call that say, "Hey, you guys are pointless. Stop calling me. Stop." All the like. I get that every single day. And hey, they might be right. They might be right in the future. As of right now, they're dead wrong. They're just not looking at stats. But 50 years from now, that might be a thing. AI might take my job. That's something that I just have to be okay with, just like any other industry. They just have to be okay with that. Now,
no, I'm not up. Like, I just hate the talking points when people talk about like innovation stuff like that. Of it's America, get better, because I just wholeheartedly disagree. Like, I agree with you what you just said of like, I know for certain, because I work in retail banking. I work at a branch at PNC. I know for certain within my lifetime, they're already trying to get rid of cash and stuff like that.
I'm
There's
100%
cashless
against
banks.
that.
There's cashless banks right now that PNC. It's called a service center. So I know for certain my job will not exist probably in my lifetime. Like a branch banker probably will not be a career field for someone to do. But that I just don't like the talking points of when people say, "Oh, it's just going to get automatically better," because it doesn't always. Because globalization and decentralization always, yeah, does it help the corporation? 100%. Does globalization and decentralization help the stock price? 1 trillion%. Does it devastate the working class communities? Yes.
Yes, but I mean, I don't know this for sure. Each industry could be different. Each innovation could be different. I'm hoping that AI at the end, because I pay a ridiculous amount to keep my book straight.
Yeah.
And if AI can go in there and let's say QuickBooks, whoever owns QuickBooks can, let go half their staff and then decrease my payments by half, if that's what they do, and kind of like competition just decreases that, and makes it cheaper for me, I'm all for it. That's capitalism at work. And innovation, does it suck for those people that just lost their jobs? Absolutely. But hopefully they go to another industry where they're needed to maybe AI programming. Like,
Yeah.
so does it suck? Absolutely. It sucks to realize that your industry is no longer needed. I'm reminded by this with data that I look at to make sure I'm still needed as a realtor, which, and people keep telling me that I'm not needed. So then that's just life.
I just think that I personally think with the AI and when people lose their minds, I still think people are going to want to sit and talk to an accountant. I still think people are going to want
100%.
a
That's
real
why.
estate agent. I don't
Yeah.
think they're ever going to replace people. And also, once they realize that AI is not perfect, because everyone's just, oh, AI is this, AI is that. It's created by a human being that makes mistakes. So like,
I 100%
once we
agree.
get down and we realize, wait, this shit's really not that good, or this one's better than the other one, and then it's like, wait, this, like, yeah, does it streamline stuff? Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna disrupt the market 100%. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not disrupting the market. It's definitely gonna change everything, but I don't know the extent it's going to.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna, like the example that we're using, replace accounting
Yeah,
people 100%. It's absolutely not. Is it gonna decrease? Probably. Is it gonna
probably, yeah.
make things cheaper? Hopefully. Is it gonna corrupt everything? Yeah. Is it gonna be no such thing as a CPA? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I don't think that at all.
yeah. Well, Nick, I'm pretty good with what we had to say. Do you have any other thoughts or opinions?
No. I just hope AI doesn't get a mind of its own and decides to kill all humankind.
If we did, at least you live in Texas, so you can defend yourself.
Absolutely. Yep. Those
Where can the
poor
people find you?
bastards in New York. They're screwed.
Where can the people find the boy?
You can find me on Instagram or X at @CalingRealty_Houston, Texas.
And please go follow the podcast on Instagram. It's real_PTA_podcast. And then the Instagram, the YouTube is PTA_pod. That is all. God bless and have a good rest of your day.
God bless.